I plead the blood. You ever heard that before in a service or in a song? This is a saying or a statement that I never used as a charismatic because I did not understand it and I could not figure out what it meant, where it came from, or why other people used it and said it all the time. I had long conversations with people who used it all the time and they couldn't figure out where it came from, but they were just like, we use it and we think it works, so we're going to keep saying it, despite not knowing where it came from or where it was in Scripture at all. Now, where it actually came from was the Azusa Street revival in California, and one of the main guys at the revival started saying it, and so other people picked it up, and now years later, everyone is saying it, whatever it means. William Seymour is the first one who started saying it. They believe that it can be used for spiritual healing or physical healing, spiritual protection, or authority, claiming authority over stuff. And if you've been listening to Christian radio very much, you might notice that there's a song called Plead the Blood or I Plead the Blood, something like that, on the radio. And it kind of encapsulates what the charismatics believe about this new saying. So I'll read some of these lyrics and tell you what I think about it. Here and now I draw a boundary against every weapon that is formed. The thief and his plans will pass over. When he sees the red on the door, I plead the blood. This is also kind of like the bloodline. I draw a bloodline around stuff, which they say also, which is found nowhere either. Against every weapon that is formed, because no weapon formed against us shall prosper. The thief and his plans will pass over when he sees the blood on the door. And that's talking about in Exodus, where God had them put the blood on the doorpost, and the angel that he sent, the destroyer, it says, not the devil, passed over that and did not kill the firstborn inside. But charismatics would also say that it was the devil that did that, not the destroyer and not God, even though God sent the destroyer, and the destroyer is the one that did it and not the devil, whoever the destroyer was that God sent. The enemy can't take my family, because this home belongs to the Lord, so I'm not afraid to remind him that he has no claim in this war. For someone who has no claim in this war, there sure are a lot of people suffering and dying at his hand. And for someone whose family cannot be touched by the devil because of pleading the blood, you would think that they would be healthy all the time and not attacked the same as any other Christian is attacked whenever we're promised that we will suffer in this life as Christians. Because my future is glory to glory, my freedom has been purchased in full. For all the weight of his suffering, the Lamb will receive his reward. And this is just another example of charismatics saying that we will never suffer and nothing bad will ever happen to us if we have faith and plead the blood. And then they say plead the blood like 5 or 6 times in a row. And then they mention 6 different things each time, saying I plead the blood twice after each one of these. What can wash away my sin, make me whole again? Nothing good that I have done. This is all my hope and peace, which is nothing but the blood, which even that is contradictory because you can't have peace as a charismatic because God is the one who supposedly gave us the tools to use and then said, go do it yourself. I gave you the tools, I'm not going to help you. And then they say I plead the blood like 8 more times and then say my shield and shelter, it's my defense. I claim it over and over again, then they say it 3 more times. So they took a saying by a guy from 1906, which he made up, which is not in Scripture, and they also took a bunch of theology, which is brand new as of 1901 or 1900, and turned it all into a song that encapsulates a lot of what's wrong with the charismatic movement these days. All of which you can easily refute if you read the plain reading of Scripture or listen to anyone who preached before 1900 or anyone who criticized this movement after the year 1900.